I'm going to read this really quick. This came out of the Advent literature that's put out by the Daily Word and actually Unity Worldwide. At times, the world goes through the ultimate assault on humanity called war. At such times, there is a renewed effort to pray for peace. We're doing that for Ukraine right now, aren't we? And we are wise to pray. Often the violence is far from our daily experience, although we become aware of it through news broadcasts, internet posts, conversations with friends and coworkers. Because the conflict is so far away, we may feel as if there's nothing we can do. Yet, as always, we can pray. Prayer is the most accelerated form of thought, not limited by time or space. Prayer does not change things in the world. Prayer changes the minds and hearts of those who pray and those for whom we pray for. According to spiritual law, the world changes to conform to our most heartfelt prayers. We make a difference because we pray, because peace begins with each of us, and because the Prince of Peace is always, always with us. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. How do we maintain peace? You know, there's a story about a little girl, and she is visiting her uncle, who's a monk. And she's got 3 of her friends. She was allowed to have them invited over for the day to play. And they were thirsty. And so they went into the kitchen and said to Uncle Monk, we're thirsty. Can we please have something to drink? And he said, I have just made a jug of apple juice. And so he poured 3 of the glasses, and he got to the 4th one, which is going to be for his niece, because he's taught her. You first serve your friends first. And he pours it, and she goes, Uncle Monk, that apple juice is dirty. I don't want to drink that. She got the bottom of the apple juice. Fresh apple juice has the pulp in it, right? He tries to explain it to her. She goes, no, I don't want it. It's dirty. And he said, well, then fine. Go on and play with your friends. She comes in about an hour later. Uncle Monk, I'm so thirsty. Can I please have something to drink? He says, your apple juice is sitting on the table. She goes over and says, it's still dirty. I don't want muddy apple juice. Can I please have something else? He says, your apple juice is right there. Go on and play if you don't want to drink it. So an hour goes by. She comes in again. It's now been 2 hours. And she says, Uncle Monk, I'm so thirsty. Please, can I have something to drink? He says, I told you, your apple juice is sitting over there. She goes over and she goes, Uncle Monk, my apple juice is all clear. And she drinks the clear part down, and she goes, what happened, Uncle Monk? He says, that apple juice is like you. He says, you're all stirred up. You're all worried, worked up about something, right? And you looks muddy. But if you just calm down and let it settle, it will become clear. I love that story as a reminder of how do we attain peace. Is to do what you just did in meditation. You only had, I think, a 4-minute meditation today. But in 4 minutes, you shifted your energy field. That's how you attain peace. And Sandy, can I have the affirmation up there, please, if it's not too much trouble? Let's do our affirmation. This is something I wrote for the week. I take time each day this week to practice a peaceful present. Is that what we did in meditation? I think we did. I never know where I'm going with that. It's true, isn't it? Let's say it again. I take time each day this week to practice being a peaceful presence. I want to tell you a story of something that happened literally 41 years ago, actually tomorrow. 41 years ago today. Many of you know some of this already. Hey, I was a single mom 41 years ago. Their dad was gone. I think Christy was, what did we figure out? You were 5, and her brother Bobby was 3, and I was the sole breadwinner. There was no support coming in other than me with the restaurant. And in that month of December, because their dad had left and I was trying to make ends meet, we had to sell our home. And so on December 4th, that was the moving day for us to move into an apartment out of our home. And we had moved that day. This was before cell phones were popular, and I didn't have a landline put in yet. And it literally was 1:30 that morning. So now we're into December 5th. 1:30 that morning, I'm still up arranging pictures. You know what moving's like, right? I'll just unpack one more box. The kids are asleep. And there's a banging on my apartment door at 1:30 in the morning. I go, and my mother's standing there, and she's sobbing. She's sobbing. And what's the first thing I think of? Oh my God, where's Dad? Where's Dad? Where's Dad? I'm thinking something happened to my father. All she kept saying was, it's bad. It's bad. And I'm like, where's Dad? And she goes, he's in the car. The restaurant's on fire. And it's bad. That's all she kept saying. It's bad. I went into shock. When you are in shock, it is amazing the things you think of. It is winter. It's December 5th. The temperature out there was 25 degrees. And all I thought of was that when I get there, I'm probably going to cry. So I grabbed a kitchen towel, and out the door I went. No coat, nothing. But I had a towel, because I knew for some reason that when I got there, I was going to cry. The things you think of when you're in shock, right? Luckily, my mother had some sense and followed behind me with a coat. Okay, we get there, and it is engulfed in flames. It's a 3-story building. Is Linda Koenig here today? Okay, kind of wish she was, because this involves her sister. Her sister lived in the apartment above the restaurant. It was a 3-story building. Her sister and 2 children lived in that apartment upstairs. This particular night, her children had one of their friends stay over. So there's her and 3 small children in that apartment. The building is engulfed in flames. I have to take a breath sometimes to just, okay, the local bar, I'm going to try to do this in some kind of order here. The local bar across the street, North College Hill. Many of you know St. Margaret Mary School. The restaurant was right across the street from that. Other people will know the Budna Grill, which was in business for 50 plus years. The Budna stayed open that night, all night, to serve coffee to the firefighters. When I got there, all I could think about was all my Christmas decorations are in the basement. But first was I found out that the family upstairs had gotten out. That was my first question. Back up. How did they get out? Because the fire broke out at 1 o'clock in the morning. The local, back in those days, that's what we called it. The local drunk, 7 days a week at the Budna, closed the bar every night. He got out at 1 o'clock, saw flames in the building, had a presence of mind to think, I remember there's been lights on in that building. He jumped the flames, went up the steps, banged the door down, and got them awake. The only way that woman, Linda's sister, Kathy, her name is Kathy, knew that she had her kids was she had 3 heads of hair in her hands. They would have slept right through it. She broke her leg jumping the flames going down the steps. But they all got out alive, thanks to the local town drunk that we called him back then. I want you to know that town drunk received from the mayor the key of the city in North College Hill for saving those lives. So then, once I found out they were all right, I'm like, my Christmas presents, my Christmas decorations. For the first time in my life, I shopped early and put everything in the basement of the restaurant because the kids at that age didn't go down there, right? So they're a perfect place. All I could think about was that. Gone. Sorry. The three-story building was gone. The mom and the kids in that apartment lost everything. Everything. It was the worst of times, I thought. 'Tis the season, right? To be jolly. Bah humbug. That's where I was. I didn't say it so politely. I think I pretty much said, screw Christmas. Bah humbug. Every day was shoveling through burnt rubble to salvage anything. 90% of it went to the dumpster. It cost $45 at that time to have an extra pickup in the dumpster. So I would go, as many people were shoveling to get the rubble out, I would go and climb on the dumpster and stomp it down because every load, and we're talking burnt debris and rotten food. But to save $45. This is where we were, okay? This was where we were as a family. I have lost my sense of smell as a result of being in that environment for so long. But I can smell fire. I can smell fire. It was the worst of times, I thought. 'Tis the season. Bah humbug. The tenants were all alive. I was grateful. The town drunk. I was grateful. The firefighters. I was grateful. No income. The wrong kind of insurance. For anybody who understands insurance, we had a thing called actual cash value. No business interruption. No replacement cost. Actual cash value means you take a huge slash in whatever you're going to get. So, and as I said, the kids were 5 and 3. Now it's maybe a week or two before Christmas. I'm in no mood. Every day I'm cleaning and stomping on garbage. Many people, my employees and people in the community came out with shovels, with a dump truck to pull up in the front, was the front window to shovel the debris out. That was my day. And at night, I would just sit on the couch, numb and angry and sad and depressed. 'Tis the season. Bah humbug. It was the worst of times, I thought. My boyfriend at the time, he's trying like heck to bring me up. Come on, Kathy, it's Christmas. Come on, let's go out and see Christmas lights. He knew I used to love to do that. Let's go see the lights. And I'm like, I don't want to see the lights. He said, well, let's just go out. You got to do a little shopping. I don't have any money to do a little shopping. I don't care about Christmas. With that, there is a ding-dong on my apartment door. I'm looking at some of these people right now. And I'm like, I hear Christmas carolers behind that ding-dong on the door. And I looked at my boyfriend and I said, please don't answer that door. Please, I don't want to hear it. And he opens the door and there's this huge Christmas tree in front of the door, and whoever these singers are, they're behind the tree. And I'm like, next thing, the tree is coming in, and here comes my employees. We are talking 41 years ago. Some of them are here today. I reached out to them. Just give a little wave. I want to see these. Stand up. I'm going to go find you. Stand up. I want them to know who you are. I love you all. There's two more. I'm going to get them after service. Don't worry. Oh, and Christy, they helped raise Christy, all of them. I can't. Okay, I'm not done with the story. So I hope you're okay. I'm going to go on a little more. They came in with a Christmas tree. They're singing. Then the next thing, they're opening mishmash boxes of ornaments that they all took from their parents' homes. They are 15 and 16 years old at this time. I know, they'll do the math now. They know how old you are. 15 and 16 years old. They got mishmash, decorated this tree, and now what are you supposed to do with that? I couldn't do the bah humbug anymore, right? Because for not a year goes by that I don't remember this event. And then I thought about it this morning, and I looked at the calendar to see what was that Saturday date, and it was December 5th. Tomorrow is 41 years, and I still remember. All of us are crying back there right now, because it was if it were yesterday. And what took place? The VFW came with a turkey and everything that I needed to have a Thanksgiving dinner. They did the same thing for Kathy and her kids up in the apartment, who lived in the apartment. They came with little trinket toys for our kids. Just a little airplane or something like that. The Red Cross brought her coats and clothing for her children because she lost everything. Everything. I didn't have any money that year. And so my mom took me out shopping, and she said, "What are you got? You got to get the kids something." So they each got a monkey. I said to Christy and Bobby, if you see this post, he still has his monkey in San Diego, California. They each got a monkey. Christy brought him in this morning. I said, "Monkey." And I went, "What's happened to him?" She goes, "For crying out loud, Mom, he's 41 years old." And then, of course, he used to have to go to the hospital and get stitches a lot because, we flung him around a lot. So he's been stitched up. His mouth needs some work again. Oh, my gosh. It was the best Christmas ever. And we had so little. Oh. Evie, I hope you don't mind. I call her Evie. Her name is Cindy, but I had two Cindys working for me at the time. One was my girlfriend, older, and here comes Cindy. Probably, did you start at age 15, but then you were 16? You started at 14. Right. We didn't have such strict labor laws back then. You did have to get a work permit. There we go. Thank you for saving me, make me look somewhat legal. I keep these kids from age 14 to most of the time 23 through college. Why? I don't know. It surely wasn't their pay scale. I know that. But anyway, when I reached out to them and said, "I'm going to talk about the restaurant. Every year I think about you all. And this Sunday I'm finally going to share this story." And Evie wrote, "It was the best of times during the worst of times. I was 16 years old then. I thought that I wouldn't be able to go on." Let me tell you why. Because she was one of the closers that Saturday night at the restaurant. Now, they put the fire out somewhere between 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning. And we got called back at 6 o'clock in the morning because the fire had started again. And so I was there on the premises. And at 7:30, when my crew was supposed to come in to open up, Evie, who was closing that night, was now going to open on Sunday morning. She pulls up. She's unaware. She hasn't heard the news. She sees the restaurant burnt down, and she comes screaming at me, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to leave the French fryer on." And I'm like, "You didn't do it." And she shares with me, at 16 years old, I thought I wouldn't be able to go on thinking that perhaps the fire was my fault for not turning the fryer off when I closed the night before. Coming together as a family in crisis got us all through this terrible time. And you certainly taught me how to be a strong, resilient woman. It was the worst of times, and it was the best of times. Why do I share this story with you when we're talking about peace? Because during those worst of times, somehow, we as a restaurant family were able to maintain peace. We were able to share peace with each other. They were, as what is it Mr. Rogers says, when you got a problem, look for the helpers. There was my helpers. That's just a small group of them. There's a much larger group of them that were there that night. Look for the helpers. Maybe you need to be the helper for someone to help them maintain peace. Maybe today you're going okay, right? You leave here most Sundays, you're doing pretty good. By Wednesday, it's starting to get a little rocky again, right? And then you come back on Sunday so you can, I'm good again, right? When you leave today, go spread your peace. You know, I can choose peace instead of this. It's the pause. It's the pray. We're so quick to proceed. Remember, Kathy's got the PPP. Pause, pray, then proceed. Sometimes you got to stay in the pause and pray for quite a long time because our proceed is a reactionary moment. And that usually doesn't bring peace. Okay? It causes an uproar. So, there's a song that's been playing in my head over and over and over again, and I've requested it for Christmas Eve. If many of you know, it's, I think, is it Sting and Bing Crosby? Who are singing this? When Bing Crosby was, we're going way back. It's called Peace on Earth and Little Drummer Boy. It's a duet. David Bowie, that's who it is. Thank you. And it's a duet. And it says, "Peace on earth, can it be? Years from now, perhaps we'll see. Every child must be made aware. Every child must be made to care. Care enough for his fellow man to give all the love that he can." I'm going to stop right there because I want that group back there to know that your parents somehow made you aware to help your fellow man and to care. Because they were only 14, 15, and 16 years old. And somebody raised you right. Somebody raised you right because you were there. And every one of them make a difference in their world now. I know their lives, and I know who they touch, and I stay in touch with them, and they make a difference in this world. And as a result of you helping to raise Christy and Bobby, they make a difference in this world. Because they saw your actions. It goes on, it says, "I pray my wish will come true for my child and your child too. They'll see the day of glory. They'll see the day of goodwill to men. Live in peace again. Peace on earth. Can it be? Can it be? Absolutely. But it starts where? Within. So my wish to you is peace on earth today, peace this week, because you're going to practice it, right? Because if they can do it at 14, 15, and 16, by God, you can do it at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, right? That's the spirit I want to hear. Namaste. The Christ presence in me truly sees, God's on the phone, truly sees and honors that Christ presence in each and every one of you. Namaste. Woo!